What do you guys think about Dino?
Okay, let's test if the audio is working first.
Dino.
I think they pronounce it Deno, but sure.
How do you pronounce Leno? Lino.
How do you pronounce? Yeah, I'm just testing the audio.
Lino. What do you guys think about Demo? Oh my god. Oh
I think they
shit.
pronounce it Deno. Okay, we can
Oh my
start.
god, it's so loud.
Hi, okay, let's start. Okay.
God. Right. Okay, so hi, welcome to this live stream.
Hi again.
Have you seen the live stream title? It's called what do you call
I
that?
saw it. Denominator.
Yeah, cool, right? I'm the most
Not really.
punny guy. Denominator. It's called a
Jeez.
denominate. Dominate.
Denominate isn't really good because denominators is the one at the bottom. So
Yeah, I think so. So Dino is at the bottom.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So for those who just come into this live stream, what is Dino? Is Dino good? Is Dino good? Is Dino good? Is Dino
Let's
good?
talk about what is it about first.
So what's Dino?
Okay, so as we all know and love now, we
No.
love JavaScript, and we use JavaScript on both front end and server side. And we use JavaScript on the server side using this runtime called Node.js. So in case you don't know what's a runtime is basically a software that allows you to run your code. Runtime.
Wow.
Okay, so basically the runtime called Node.js allows you to run JavaScript, and the guy basically who invented this is called Ryan Dahl. So he created this Node runtime to run JavaScript on the backend on the server on his computer instead of on the browser only because he likes JavaScript. Ryan Dahl. Yeah. Okay. So Ryan Dahl, bruh. Okay, so basically what happened was after he created Node.js, he worked on it for quite a few years. Node.js was created in 2009. So after like a decade or so, he realized that, hey, there's actually a lot of problems with Node.js. And the thing was, when he created Node.js, that was in 2009, which is the pre-ES5 days, which is a very different type of language, the pre-modern JavaScript days. So that's why they had to build a lot of like so-called hacks into the Node.js runtime to make it work like how they want it to be, right? So after 10 years already, where Node.js have when JavaScript has significant improvements, stuff like that, but there's also a problem where Node.js kind of deviated too much from browser, right? Because as we know, when we do something in Node.js, it's actually kind of different from the way we do things in the browser, right? There's like different standards, different stuff. We need to use some polyfills, blah, blah, all these things. So that's why what happened is we decided like, hey, I mean, not we decided, but Ryan Dahl decided, hey, why not I redo what I've done in 2009 and create a new JavaScript runtime. And this was where Deno is born. So Deno is actually created by the same guy, by Ryan Dahl, which incorporates all the lessons that he learned throughout building Node for like 10 years. Yeah. So it's not really a new version of Node.js. It's more like you can think of it almost as an improved and different type of Node.js. And just to be clear, these two are not backwards compatible. I mean, they both run JavaScript, but there's a lot of things that's not backward compatible. And Deno strives to be as browser compatible as possible. Yeah. So your code can be used interchangeably if needed. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for those huge introduction. And yeah, I don't really what do you call that? Use Node, but when I see Dino,
but no, as in you use Node, right? Because for example, you use Node when you use Firebase Cloud Functions, right? Firebase Cloud Functions is essentially their runtime is basically Node.js and Express, and then they wrap it up for you, and then they give you an interface to build a function from there.
Right.
So basically, what happened is, yeah, I mean, we use Node quite a lot of places, right? So Dino can potentially be a huge step up for a lot of places. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what Dino is. We can talk about like both of these two things. So these two things are very similar yet very different. The first big difference, these are the biggest difference, and the main thing in terms of the runtime itself is that it is no longer built in C and C++. It's written now in Rust, which is another language. You guys are interested? Rust language is originally created as a system language at Mozilla Foundation to build the Firefox browser. So some part of the Firefox browser is actually written in Rust now. Yeah.
Noise.
And Rust is designed to be, and Rust is pretty interesting because Rust actually has support for WebAssembly. So you can actually build Rust stuff that runs in the web. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
it's kind of like our last live stream where we talk about Mint, the language Minlang.
Right.
So you can actually do something similar, but Minlang compiles to JavaScript if I'm not wrong, whereas this compiles to WebAssembly. Like you can make it compile to WebAssembly using web frameworks for Rust.
Nice.
So yeah, let's get back to Dino. So Dino is pretty cool, as you can see really. Basically, first thing it does is it's secure. So same like how browser are. When you're on a browser, right, for example, you build a website that tries to like let's say if a website is trying to access the user's webcam, right, you need the user's permission, right?
Yeah.
That's why we say it's secure by default. It's a sandbox that for anything you want to use, you need to require permissions, right? And so Dino is the same way. If you want to access the file system, you need permission. If you want to access the network, you need permissions. So that's all it is. The next thing it does is it supports TypeScript. So a lot of developers
Best feature.
right? So this feature, if we read more into it, we realize that it's great. It's a fantastic concept. However, we'll talk about this later. There's some downsides to this also. So let's talk about advantages first. Why is this great? Okay, so when you do TypeScript yourself, you have to set up your TypeScript compiler. You have to do TypeScript config JSON everything, right? Which is not easy for the new developers trying to get started, right? When you use Node, you have to use so many build tools. You have to use a lot of things in the user land to try and support what you're trying to do, right? You have to like, I need to compile TypeScript down, right? So Dino decides that, hey, why not we just remove all this extra tooling, we just build it natively into the runtime.
So in summary, you could say that Dino is like Svelte, but for runtime. So Dino is like Svelte. So Svelte is not a framework, but it's like a compiler framework kind of thing. So it's very close to native.
Yeah, no, Dino is not a framework. Dino is.
No, I know, but it's like it is less because you don't need a lot of configurations, right? So
basically, they set up best practices for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can focus on your code and don't need to focus on like so many other things. Yeah, so how they achieve this right now is, as we know, TypeScript has a compiler, right? So basically they bundle the TypeScript compiler together with the executable when you install the executable.
So okay, makes sense.
Which comes with the third point, which is great. So it only has a single executable file. What it means is that when you download Deno, you only get Deno.exe or something like that, right? So when you do Node, right, it comes it's kind of like an issue with like the fragmented build tool system. You know that in Node you have like Grunt, you have Gulp, you have Webpack, blah blah. Everything you have to install separately, and then you make it global, and then you run it from the command line. It's very fragmented. And then let's say Node is a different executable from npm, blah blah blah. When npm wants to update some stuff you have to do. So it's kind of like it's too fragmented. It's so much mental mental strain that the developers cannot focus on, like just doing what they want to do, which is writing
Right.
code and focusing on core features, right?
Yep.
So Deno basically, so since Deno is built in Rust, so let's just give a super quick 10-second explanation of Rust. So Rust is a language, and Rust have like a package manager similar to npm, right? So they, instead of calling them dependencies in Rust, it's called crates, crates, crates. So you can think of crates as separate Rust libraries or packages, right? So yeah, so it's like npm. So you install a crate, stuff like that, right? So how Deno uses this to its advantage is that although Deno ships a single executable, but all of its core components are in separate Rust crates. So it's no longer like I have like, so essentially the advantage of this is that everything can be built separately. It is not, so when we think of single executable, we think, oh, it's terrible because, you know, like if I want to upgrade this one thing, I have to upgrade everything, right?
Right.
So but it is not actually the case, because although it's a single executable for you to download, when you build the project, when you develop Deno and stuff like that, it's actually made out of many separate smaller crates. For example, there's the Deno core crate, there's the Deno CLI crate, there's the Deno doc, Deno FMT, stuff like that. So it's all separated out, which is very cool, allows better development and allows some interesting use case. This is one of the most cool features of Deno that I think can be possible for like enterprises. So let's say I'm a company, let's say I'm Google. Instead of using Deno, let's say I want to build a custom version of Deno. I can use Deno core and then build my own CLI on top of it, build my own tool on top of it. So
Right.
that's very cool. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so they so for when creating Deno, they actually took a lot of inspiration from a few languages, namely JavaScript, TypeScript, browser standards, Rust, and Go. So they also took some inspiration from Python and stuff like that. But the cool things that they took from Go is its tooling and simplicity, I feel. So in Go, the way Go developers wanted to have it is that when you write Go code and you share it, they want it to seem like almost, no matter what Go file you see, it's like it's written by the same person, to make sure that the style, the
Right.
standard, the patterns are consistent. So basically, they built in a formatter to Go called Go FMT. And same with Deno, they have a Deno FMT to format your code so that it's kind of like standardized. When you share it, people like understand like, oh, okay, it's all the same style, it's more or less the same pattern, everything.
Yep.
Dependency inspector is also something from the other languages, pretty useful. So with Deno, you actually entirely remove the use of package.json. So if
Yep.
you're a Node.js developer or you're a front-end developer, you know how we use package.json. So over here, it removes entirely the need for package.json. We can explore further how they deal with packages and dependencies that now that they don't have package.json. So this is actually one of the biggest so-called mistake that Ryan Dow talked about. So he actually gave a presentation on 10 mistakes in Node, if I'm not wrong, where he talked about the mistakes that he introduced and how he wanted to do better. And then he first introduced the Deno project then, which was like only 1 month old. So right, so the the one of the issues that he stated was actually the npm and the module system. So basically, the module system had a lot of issues because when they built it, they didn't. It was kind of like an afterthought. Like modules weren't supported natively when they built Node. They only built the npm and the require orders as a separate afterthought. That's why
Right.
complexity for doing package management is so difficult on Node. Whereas right now in browser, with our new standard, it's super easy, right? We have what do you call that? ES modules where we just access a URL, right? So
Right.
this is pretty cool. So if we take a look, the good news is that after 2 years of development, Deno is finally v1.0. So in case you're a bit confused, Deno is not really 1.0, 1.0, meaning that because Deno is built out of many smaller crates, so not every single part of Deno is actually 1.0. So the main thing that Deno is 1.0 now is actually the CLI. So the CLI finally hit 1.0, stable enough for a certain type of experimentation, right?
Right.
Okay, let's talk about installation. Installation seems pretty. Installation is
Straightforward.
very straightforward. It's literally one line of install, and you get one executable with everything in it.
Nice.
Right. So
Simple. Don't have to have so many files to maintain
right.
or even
And you
think
don't need an
about.
installer to like most of the time. Let's say
Right,
when
right,
you
right.
things to install installer and blah blah. So yeah, especially if you have a package manager on like Windows or Mac, like Brew or Chocolatey or Scoop on Windows, it's super easy to install. Once you install, it's in the your environment variables. Just run it immediately, and everything just works. And this is really really nice. Yeah, to get people started. Right.
Let me try. I'm going to demo the Deno. Ha 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 ha. So time to zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to use brew.
This is assuming most Mac people have Blue. So
Yeah, I assume lah. So it's just Deno, right?
I think just check it just in case.
Okay, so
Is
it's
it then?
installing, updating homebrew. Okay, it's gonna take a while. Okay, let's get to the next part for more
So
installation. Should we see this
yeah,
installation
sure. Let's
options?
take a look. Yeah. So this gives you options to do like more
Latest
interesting
version,
install stuff.
specific version,
Yeah.
via package manager, multiple versions. Okay,
Yeah.
scope, environment variables,
Yeah.
right? Compatibility,
So
known
for
issues.
for the
Ah, okay,
Deno does something similar to Node and Python. So in Node.js we have Node modules. In Python we have virtual environments, right? So in Deno, technically they allow you. So when you run a new dependency, right? What happens is they always install to the global dependency directory.
yeah,
However, let's say if you want to have like separated directories to store your different dependencies, you can actually create like a custom directory to store all your stuff just for this one project, and then
yeah,
switch out of it.
yeah.
So that's something very interesting.
So
Yeah, and Deno, yeah,
right.
sorry.
So Deno doesn't have like a manager for different kinds of environments.
You- as in to switch between environments, is it?
Yeah, like for
Oh,
example,
you don't need
npm.
the environment.
Right,
You can just it's literally by this command line path called dollar Deno directory, dir. That's
right,
it. So it's designed to be as simple as possible.
right.
I'm not fully sure if there's something built in to switch environment automatically, but even if there isn't, it shouldn't be difficult. Like, it should be like a fairly straightforward process. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Uh,
see the terminal. Okay, it's still updating. All right.
yeah. So yeah, okay. Basically, Deno comes with many CLI such as run, and run basically allows you to just
Run.
run a JavaScript or TypeScript file directly from a URL. So what this means is that I can host a JavaScript file or TypeScript file on GitHub, and I can just run it directly on my local computer without like first installing it or something. Yeah, basically this is pretty cool for quick so-called dev usage. Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question for you, JJ.
Yeah.
Golang as backend versus Deno. Have you used Golang as a backend before?
Yeah, so at my previous company, we basically the whole not say the whole, I would say 70% of the backend is written in Golang. So Golang is very interesting also. However, there is different usage and different pros and cons lah. So to simplify it for you, why use Go over Deno and why use Deno over Go? Use Go over Deno if you want raw performance. If you care about extremely performance system, you care about um, interoperability with many advanced software. Meaning, so although like Node.js, Deno, everything, all these are cool. However, there's a thing that a lot of more advanced systems are built in Go. For example, if you are building for blockchain, uh, we are using Go, right?
Okay.
So the thing is, if you want to build for blockchain and stuff, it's much easier to start with Go than another runtime like Deno. However, if you want to build something really quick, you should use something like JavaScript, which is either Node.js or Deno. And the reason why I choose Deno over Node can be advantages like having TypeScript built in and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So okay, I don't know whether that answers your question, but you can.
So
You can.
basically, Go is if you really want to do optimization and those nitty gritty stuff lah. While
Yeah.
Deno is simple enough for you to get started lah.
Yep. Oh, and
Okay.
also, secondly, this should be quite obvious advantage in case you don't know. Go is a compiled language. So if you want to be able to share executables instead of sharing like JavaScript and TypeScript file and then expecting the client to use to download the runtime, you can just package it or like build it into an executable, send the executable and just run. Yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
advantage of Go. So yeah.
All right. So I have already downloaded Deno. So if I were to go to terminal, right, and if I type in Deno, and it already has installed inside my environment
Yep.
variable, which is great because I don't
So that's
have to do the
the
manual
REPL.
stuff. All right. So the next thing is that let's run the TypeScript from this URL.
Yep.
And let's go to terminal. I want to run it. Oh my god, so cute! Welcome to
Yeah.
Deno.
So if you can see, right, let's scroll up. Are you able to scroll up to your past
No,
command? Okay. So
no.
okay. So sadly, it's okay. But so the thing I want to point out is now you see it directly outputs welcome to Deno, right? However, the first time when you run it, you actually see some so-called downloads and installation. Right. I think you saw like 2 or 3 extra line above welcome to Deno. So the reason
Yeah.
is because when you first run something, they will download the file and then save it locally. But the next time you
Right.
use it, they won't re-download it anymore unless you tell it to force re-download. Yeah. So there's a few like yeah,
I'm gonna
you
try
can
this
try yourself.
example, colors.ts. So
So
I'm
let's
gonna
run it for the
try that.
first time. You'll see that
Okay.
you download it first. No, you have to
Oh,
Deno,
okay,
right?
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Right, so you
So
see we are
download.
downloading it and then it printed out. So let's just press up and then run again. It should just print hello world now.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah. So this is an advantage. So some people may say that, oh, what if we have to re-download every single time? It's not very efficient. So yeah, basically Deno has a built-in caching mechanism for you.
Right.
So you
Yeah, I
don't
was
have
thinking there
to.
was a cache, right? Since it's able to
Yes,
run
yes.
oh, cool. So
Yeah.
I like this it reminds me of GitHub, but a nicer GitHub.
No, this is all pointing to GitHub. I mean, no, so this is not,
Huh?
but you can
I need
point to GitHub file directly. So yeah,
yeah.
you can find their
Cool.
STDs and then just use it directly. So these are some example like Unix tools that people usually have, and then cat, so you can print out a file. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. So one of the goals for Deno is also that we want to build fast and simple CLI tools, and you can
Right.
use it in JavaScript because it's just so easy it's
Right.
much easier to write a CLI tool in JavaScript, like a quick one, than compared to
Yeah.
C or something else where you have to deal with like file system, streaming, all these type of things. So this is very interesting. Yeah.
Jesus.
And if you
Cool.
scroll up, if you scroll all the way up, you can see that at the first line we actually use the shebang to use Deno. So yeah, so if you want to run the file directly, you can actually do that. If your
Right.
terminal supports shebang. So basically,
Yeah.
you see, previously we say you see, sorry, just go back to the just now that file, the one with the shebang, please.
Sorry, wait, where was it? Gist. Okay, yep.
Yeah, okay. So you can see, right, what it says is that it says Deno allow net. No, the first line. Deno allow net and allow env. So what is this for is that instead of passing, like what I told you, permissions, right? Instead of passing the permissions when you run that file, you can actually pre-specify the file to always allow network use and allow env use. So you don't have to,
Nice.
in the CLI, do it manually yourself. But yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. But it's not a node killer. Node is here stay for long. A huge matter over
No,
node is the build.
so they know over node, right? Yes. So okay, let's talk about this in a bit. So, but firstly, let's talk about Deno first. So Deno isn't there to replace Node because we know that Node is very stable and Node has a
Node is
huge
very stable. Yeah,
library.
it's too big.
It has a huge community behind. So
Yep.
I would say it might not even move to Dino over the next 5 to 10 years, and Dino is
Yeah.
still not very stable yet. So yes,
Correct.
referring back to the point, right, where the main advantage of Dino over Node is the TypeScript compiler built in. So yes, that's an advantage. However, there are some issues about TypeScript speed. So reason is because every single time you have to recompile everything, which isn't very efficient using the TypeScript compiler. So there's actually an ongoing issue on Dino-lang GitHub to one day rewrite the type checking system into with Rust, so that it's much faster instead of relying on V8 snapshots. So you can just search the issue. Should we call just search for TypeScript? Yeah. So we
See,
just
most popular.
no, just find compiler. Just type more. Just add compiler.
Lazy to write comp.
Yeah, TypeScript compiler in Rust should be the second one. The second one should be that. Wait, sorry. Is it
Execution time? I don't know.
No. Wait, you're going a bit too fast. Let me search for this too.
You search on your thing. Let me put it inside the private chat. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm going to stall some time. Dino, yeah, you can see from over here, you can create a complex kind of executable using this. And then you also can use the different, I would say, like function or something like that in order for you to import certain stuff. So one thing that I realized when I doing, like, for example, Node.js stuff, right, or any JS stuff, is that sometimes you have to use some packages allow you to use import, some allow you to use another, I forgot what function. Yeah, which is kind of annoying because they are just different ES versions that are working together, which is kind of annoying because some use import, another one use something else. I forgot what is it called. So I guess for TypeScript, I mean, or for this Dino, it uses import, hopefully. Yeah, which I think it's cool. Server.ts.
Yeah, so basically they are using the standard ES modules now. So they want to be as standard compliant as possible and
Yeah,
as browser compatible as possible.
correct. So that's
So
one good thing about it. Runtime. The basic runtime documentation for Dino can be found here. Contains more in-depth explanation. Standard modules. Deno also provide a list of audited standard modules that are reviewed by the core demo team and guaranteed to work with specific Deno versions. So I guess these filter the good ones from the bad, right? So I mean that's great. And then you got third-party modules. So Dino can import modules from any location on the web, like GitHub, personal web server, or CDN, like pika.dev or jspm.io. To make it easier to consume third-party modules, Dino provides some built tooling like Dino Info. Oh, nice. And Dino Doc provides a web UI for viewing module documentation. All right. So you're able to see the documentation of certain. Oh my god, so cute! So Dino provides some out of the box documentation for your what do you call this, runtime stuff. So you have like your functions like delete cookies and okay, that's pretty cool. That's why okay, that's nice. Let me refresh again. Oh yeah. So I think it has a lot of good tooling for you to like see what is available. Yeah. So for example, I think LoDash is a pretty popular what do you call this package in Node.js. A lot of people use LoDash, and you can just use LoDash. I think if I'm not wrong, we are able to just use this link to just import one of the functions. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, I guess I'm not too sure. So one thing I also have read is about this. Deno, why all the buzz? So I guess the person who created Node.js, Ryan Dahl, for those who just come in, right? He talked about the 10 things I regret. Do you read this, JJ? About
Yeah, I
this
watched the video.
article?
Yeah, back in
Oh, you watched the
2018.
video. I
Yeah,
didn't
back
have
in
time to watch
2018.
the video. I was busy procrastinating. So I just read this. And from what I've seen so far, like okay lah, not bad. He's I guess it's just like any popular kind of stuff, right? That use old code or old standards is that either you're going to rewrite the whole thing or you're going to live with it. Something like Facebook, they are still using PHP, that kind of thing.
But they're
So
migrating a lot away from it. So
okay lah, that's great.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
frameworks or language would you suggest for web apps? So Dino is not exactly a framework, but
No. The question is not really regarding Dino. It's
yeah, I
just
know.
yeah,
Lily, it's up to you. Actually,
yeah.
I'm thinking to learn React because I'm thinking to build something complicated. But yeah. So
Okay, my
for
suggestion
me,
is Vue.
yeah, but there is this guy called Stefan Misk Hook or whatever. He's a old guy who is very experienced in the development world, right? He has his own YouTube channel. So there is this thing he said, nerd to need basis, meaning that what choose the right tool lah. Don't need to choose the best or don't need to choose the upcoming or cool or the hyped tool that is out there. So for example, Dino, right? I wouldn't use Dino. It's more like experimentation. Yeah. If I were to deal with any like backend stuff, I'll
Yeah,
probably
sorry.
use
I think
npm.
we deviated a bit from the question. I think the
Yeah.
answer to your question would be firstly, obviously on the web, you only have two choices. You either use JavaScript on the web or you use WASM, which is WebAssembly. And from these two, there are many languages that compiles to this or transpose to this, right? So in terms of the most popular frameworks and the most widely documented, which I think is great to like start and learn and to build something out lah, is either Vue, React, or Angular. Most of the time, people would choose between Vue and React. And if you are looking for something more fanciful, something super performant, you can look at, for example, Rust to WebAssembly or something similar. Yeah, yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it
I
does.
don't.
You know why Deno came out?
Yeah, because Ryan Dow said that he, after building Node for so long, the creator of Node.js, he realized that there's a lot of mistakes that he introduced at the start. So he decided to redo it one more time to fix all the mistakes that he made and hopefully clear the regrets that he had. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that's where it came from. Yeah, and Ryan Dow is still very active in maintaining Deno. So if you see Deno's issues and PRs and commit history is Ryan Dow plays a huge part in it. Yeah,
That's cool. Currently, Nolan has only one person, which is Bert
that's
Belder.
that's public member. So as in you can many members inside, but just not public. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is great and stuff. So as you can see, Deno is actually made of many different packages. That's all linked together. Yeah.
sorry, I'm
So this
looking
is the
at how
website.
they built their
Yeah,
website.
I know you're very distracted.
Next.js. Okay. No lah. I'm looking for a front end framework. That's the thing. But yeah, I mean,
no,
let's go back to the Deno. Deno is single thread or multi. Since it's JavaScript, right?
no,
It's
no, no. It's,
only
it's the same. It's yeah. So Deno is JavaScript, and the language itself is single thread.
yeah.
So regardless of what, because no, as in your runtime always follows the language, right?
Yep.
So
Correct.
yeah, so if I'm not wrong, you are able to spawn separate processes like in Node. However, that is not something usually people explore lah. People that's a very edge case. So yeah, single threaded, just like how JavaScript is. Yeah, and one of the other mistakes that so-called that Ryan Dow said that he made and he wanted to fix was that at first, because back in 2009, promises wasn't really a thing yet, right?
Yeah.
So for concurrent, not say concurrent, like concurrent or asynchronous programming, they rely heavily on event-driven programming using event emitters and callback functions, right? So there's some issues with event emitters. It's a bit more in depth. Let's not talk about it first. But essentially, right now for Deno, everything is promises based, and async await are natively available, and you
Nice.
can use top level await, meaning you can
Nice.
use await that is not inside the async function.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Something
that's
like
that's
Flutter.
sure. Yeah. So actually, okay, so when you think about all these things, right, you may think that, oh, it's just like synthetic sugar, synthetic changes, and like nicer tooling, stuff like that. It's not just that. There's actually a huge difference. So as we all know, in Node.js, there's an event loop that runs over and over to facilitate the event-driven architecture of the language. So the loop itself now is changed. So last time, if I'm not wrong, let's see. Yeah, so last time on Node.js, we rely on this thing called libuv. Uh, we can send here. So last time we used this libuv thing. So now, for Deno, we are actually using this thing called Tokyo, which is a Rust version for async programs. Yeah. So, oh wait, don't look at Rust. Yeah. Oh wait, that's Deno core. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Deno core
uses
is
Tokyo.
within.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tokyo is the underlying event loop that facilitates
Nice.
the event-driven architecture of JavaScript in Deno. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. So and okay, so the thing that I want to mention is that for Deno, everything is promises awaited. I mean like promises based. So the core API feature is all promises based, which means that there is no issue with event emitters. So there's a I don't know if you know this issue, but there's this issue with event emitters called what do you call called back pressure. Okay, so back pressure is where there's like let's say no event for a while, and then suddenly you're flooded with events, right? And then the system
Right.
cannot handle the back pressure, and where you have many requests coming in, you have to open a file descriptor on your computer. So if you guys are interested, you can Google what's file descriptor. But anyways, when that happens, there's a chance that your file descriptor can get so many you can have so many file descriptor open, and your computer can either crash because out of memory, or it can crash because out of file descriptors. So that's an issue with back pressure back system that don't handle back pressure well, such as event emitters. And basically Deno avoids this by relying on promises. Yeah. So
Right.
the details of how exactly it works is you can learn more about it, but that's the basic idea. Okay, so there's actually one more question. How can I deploy my Deno project? Right, so you can deploy your Deno project in many ways actually. So you can either uh, run your own VM, install the Deno runtime and run your code, or you can package it up in a Docker file and then distribute it based using a Docker file. So if I'm not wrong, right now I do not think that there is any major serverless platform yet that supports Deno functions, because there isn't really any super big Deno frameworks yet like Express.js. So that's why most of the because right now, if you are looking to deploy a Deno project, most likely I would it's either you bundle it together with the runtime, or you use something like Docker containers. So yeah, my suggestion is to use a Docker container. Yeah.
Right. So I'm inside Deno manual. So I'm thinking on
By the way,
how
for
you can.
Deno, right, they are working very hard to have great WebAssembly support too. So if you're interested in WebAssembly, that's great. Yeah, so enabling Deno core. So yeah, this is pretty cool. So this allows you to build custom stuff on top of Deno core. So let's say I don't like the Deno CL, I want to build my own one for whatever reason. Let's say if you're a big enterprise company, you're trying to build a platform as a service or function as a service thing, you can use this and build from scratch and stuff like that to suit what you need. So I really like this new approach. It's yeah, and very rarely for programmers like Ryan Dow to openly admit what they don't like about what they created and to like take on the challenge to redo everything in a better way.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry, your mic was a bit loud.
yeah, sorry, it was the metal thing. Yeah, I think there is a few people who leave their ego behind and really see what they can do better in their creations, right? So Deno is one of them. Dart is another one of them.
Jeez.
J is Louise. No, I think it's good. But the thing about Deno is that it is the same problem as Svelte because it is the sole person kind of movement. So there's
What do you
only one
mean?
person who
Oh
is
no,
like,
this is definitely not the case. For Deno, it's actually a huge community project. It's that although Ryan Dow builds a lot of the stuff, and he
right.
started the project, but okay, so we can just read the blog post. There's actually a credit section in the blog post. Just scroll down more and more. It's quite long, more and more. I think it's all the way down. Yeah,
Acknowledgement.
acknowledgements, right? So a lot of people actually contributed a lot of stuff. Yeah, so it's not just Ryan Dow. So if you're worried that
1,
the
2,
project
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
there's
10,
actually
11,
more than
12.
that. But if you think that Deno is gonna die just because of one person
No,
leaving,
I'm not. I'm
then
not saying it's gonna die. I'm saying that the progress that
direction.
no, the progress that a company can back up. For example, Vue is great because like suddenly a lot of people like it, and then they really push it to an actual team.
Yeah, no,
Svelte,
no. For this,
yeah,
right? If you like it, what you can do is you can contribute to it, and if you're a
definitely.
company, you can
Yeah,
build your stuff on it, and you
correct,
contribute back
correct.
or even donate to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's still in the early works lah. Just like
Yeah,
how
I mean
Flutter was.
literally just V1
Yeah, it's just
on
V1.
13 May. And it's
Correct,
not
correct.
V1 for everything, like what I mentioned earlier. It's V1 only for the CLI. So
Yeah,
it's still very early stage. So if
yeah,
that's what you're interested in,
correct, correct.
Ryan Dow is indeed the main driver for this project right
I
now.
assume this is the guy.
Yeah,
RY.
all right, yeah, that's Ryan Dow.
Randall.
Yeah, actually, he's pretty cool. Actually, he's actually also he was one of the, if I'm not wrong, residential Google machine learning people.
Yeah, I can see from his GitHub he has TensorFlow, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. He worked there for a year and a half, if I'm
cool.
not wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh my god, look at his contributions.
but he have a lot of
He
code
skip. He
reviews.
skip. Bad. This is bad. No lah, but I think what is he currently doing? The thing is that
Deno,
like huh?
Deno.
I also
He's
don't know
currently working
but
on Deno,
he's full-time Deno.
more or less now. Yeah,
Right.
because
Okay
Deno
lah.
recently pushing to V1 and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah. So if there's more people on board on Deno, then I think it will become big lah.
yeah.
But
So if you
yeah,
guys are interested in learning a new programming language like Rust, you can contribute to Deno. Deno is very open to contributions. In fact, there are quite a few like first timers or like good first issues that you can
right.
strive to solve. So that's pretty nice. Yeah.
You can
So
also just what update your README. That's a good first pull request if you are really
yeah, yeah. Only do that if you find a bug. Don't just do it because
for
you
fun.
want. Yeah. If not, you're gonna spend their time to read through what you change and stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so cute. I really like their
yeah.
icon. It's so cute.
So if you guys want to learn more about things about Deno V1, you can read this blog post. Oh, okay. Please scroll down. There's a TSC portion. The TSC. Scroll down. TSC. Just find TSC. Yeah, TSC portal. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So this is the one I was referring to. So basically, yeah, this is the performance issue with TypeScript is still not fully, it's not the best yet. So yeah, if you are super interested in TypeScript and you are interested in Deno too and you want to contribute, you should get in touch. Hopefully you can make it better. So yeah, basically what they want to do is they want to remove type checking via TypeScript compiler and build it in
Port it to
Rust.
Rust, right?
So you
Because
can
it's
natively
faster, right?
bind it as a crate um in the what do you call it, in the
Deno,
Deno CLI, so it's
yeah,
faster. Yeah.
nice.
So yeah,
Yeah,
this many cool technologies. So if you guys are interested in learning more about V8, learning more about JavaScript, Rust, this is great.
just
Just
wait
wait
for
for stable version of Flutter. So I would say
if
that okay, I think Harris will play
Eric,
the for side. Harris will play the for side for Flutter Web. I'll play the against. So
no,
my
no, no.
argument
For
is
me, I don't
that
feel right. I'm just a fan of Flutter Web. I like Flutter was a huge risk that I put myself when I was trying to learn
no
a
sorry,
language.
but I got to disagree with that because Flutter is very different on the web and on native apps. Because on native apps,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially it's a pre-built, pre-compiled bundle that you just use, right? It's
Correct,
just
correct.
you already install it and then it just runs. However, for the web, because Flutter relies on the skier rendering engine, you have to re-download it or have to reset up it, and it's just no matter what happens, it's not as performant as native JavaScript
Yeah.
UI systems, unless obviously it's in WebAssembly, which I do not know whether it will happen soon or not. And even so, it will still not be as fast because WebAssembly improves computational performance. However, it does not improve performance in terms of DOM manipulation. So, regardless of what happened, no matter what lah, at the end of the day, unless Chrome or Firefox one day decide to change their DOM engine to support WebAssembly DOM manipulation, at this moment, no matter how good you optimize Flutter, it will still be not as performant as a native browser tag. Yeah,
So if you see here, Canvas, we are currently using Canvas Kit, which brings Kia to the web using WebAssembly WebGL.
yeah,
lah.
yeah,
So the thing is that I'm not sure whether Flutter Web will be the the next big thing. But the Flutter team is trying their best to make it faster. Lah. So
yeah,
currently, if I were to do a production app or website, right, I will not use Flutter Web. Maybe
yep,
for like portfolio, like very simple pages that's static, right, that doesn't have a lot of interactions,
yep,
because
yep,
Flutter is still missing a lot of things in terms of like HTML. I mean, it's not really HTML, but it's like their vision for one code base to all platforms is a very big and difficult problem they're trying to
yeah.
solve.
It's
So
like
that,
Java, but
yeah. So that's why I feel that like I say lah, I like for my followers, most of them are Flutter enthusiasts or Flutter Web enthusiasts. So
Blazor.
Blazor uses the same approach. What Blazor?
What's
I don't know.
Blazor?
Let's Google Blazor. But for me, I'm pretty.
I
I
don't
mean,
really
it's
see Blazor. Sorry, what's Blazor?
programming. Build client web apps with C sharp.
That's the one that this I think we saw this, right? Where it's pretty slow because they have to load the whole
Library,
runtime.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
For free,
they're loading
free
the
to
whole
start
runtime.
editing. Yeah. So
To be honest, everybody is trying to build stuff like that. I would say like abstractions on top of
correct.
the browser stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm still a strong advocate for building a native browser stuff. So that relying on
Same.
HTML,
Yeah,
CSS,
yeah.
JavaScript rather than I get the advantages of like Flutter Web and all of these things. However, like I would say there's a few camps of people lah. There's the camp where people think that there's the Flutter camp where everything Flutter. Then there's like my camp. My camp is the everything web. So like run the browser everywhere, like including like that's why we have like Chrome OS, right? Like
Yeah,
that's why I think.
yeah.
Um,
Particularly use WordPress. No, I no. The thing is like if you want to be like a non-biased and really realistic kind of person, right? Choose the right tool for the right job. So currently, Flutter is really very good for one code base for iOS and Android. There are still
yes.
some bugs here and there, but generally there are already big companies using Flutter for their app. But for
Yeah.
websites, I will highly recommend you to use either React or
Yes.
Vue. Like I think
Yes.
Angular is just goodbye already. Like I think Angular is only for Google
I think
developers.
Angular, people still use Angular, but
Yeah,
it's
people
more
still use
for
Angular.
very complex
Yeah, it's
issues.
enterprise level already. It's like it's not even beginner friendly. I see their documentation. I'm like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have very different patterns. Like
correct, correct. Yeah,
it's not
it's
the
not
type of
the
patterns. Okay, so I would say Vue and React is like the same category. That's probably
yeah
why it's different. When will Flutter Web be stable?
this table. We never
We'll
know.
never
You
know.
never know. You never know. The thing is like you guys keep on
Yeah.
asking that question. Like I also don't know.
There was a
And
time when people believed that the Dart team will port the Dart VM directly into Chrome, but that never happened.
yeah,
And they built Angular Dart instead, which wasn't very nice.
Flutter will change. Oh my god, I'm gonna
Flutter will change the web industry.
put user in
Uh,
time. Yeah,
Personally, I don't think so. I think it's possible lah, but right now I don't think so because at the end of the day, the web is very fragmented. Meaning many people use a wide variety of technology to build different stuff. For example, no matter how much people love Flutter, there's always the Angular strongholds. There's always the people who believe in Vue and React. There's the people
yeah,
who believe in server-side rendering using like EJS and the other templating engines or like the
yeah.
Python ones like the Ninja or something, is it? And all
I have no
those.
idea.
There's also the people who strongly believe that we should just stop doing web and then just do native everything. So I don't think that although no matter how good Flutter is, I don't think there will be such a stronghold for it that like the whole industry decides that hey, you know what, let's all do Flutter. Like, I
Flutter, right?
think there will
Yeah,
still be a lot of people like even like we just recently did in our last live stream, Mintlang, right? There's other languages like Mint trying to solve the
correct.
same issue.
Yeah,
Um, if Flutter Web will be stable, not necessary. Okay, I can agree and disagree at the same time. So I think Flutter Web people will use it if what they're looking for is a declarative UI type of thing, where they're trying to build a declarative UI stuff like all of this. Whereas there are certain things that I wouldn't use Flutter Web for, no matter how good the declarative UI for. For example, for things that I do not need declarative UI. I don't want that. So that's not what I'm looking for. Maybe what I'm looking for is let's say raw performance or something like that. Then I'll choose something that deals with WebAssembly. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's why I will have to disagree with that. Yeah. Flutter, definitely, you're right. Flutter may change the mobile industry. Yes, I personally think that Flutter may kill React Native because well, as we see, React Native have a lot of issues, and
Too many.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Flutter also got
so
a lot of issues. No lah.
no, as in there are different class of issues. You got what I mean?
Correct,
It's like
correct,
some
correct.
of the issues that is faced in React Native is just because of how it started. It has the limitation. Whereas
Yeah.
some of the Flutter issues is kind of just like, if you spend some time, throw some time at it, it will just work. So
Correct, correct.
yeah, I fully agree Flutter will change the mobile industry, but I don't know whether Flutter will change
The
web.
web industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like my experience building, okay lah, because I don't have a lot of experience in web development, but Flutter, it's yeah, like you say, it's declarative lah. So if you really want to make it as declarative and easy for you to create UIs, then yeah, go ahead with Flutter. Flutter,
Yeah.
it's a good framework lah.
And
Anyway, we're
not
talking about
everybody's looking
Deno
for
lah.
you. Yeah,
We're talking about
right.
Deno, man.
Yeah,
So like
so
you can technically create a Deno runtime ish
mm,
with
as in you
Flutter.
can create a CLI or something. What? No, wait, guys, we are confusing everybody. No. So it's actually Deno basically gives you a lot of they split up their system so much into different crates that you can use it to build your own stuff lah. Basically, yeah. So yeah, so this is a great blog post if you guys want to read about Deno, learn more. Yeah, I feel like Xamarin is really dead. Sorry. Regarding the live comment about Xamarin, Xamarin is
What's Xamarin? Oh,
yeah,
no lah.
it's one of the first few that started out that way, right?
Yeah.
Xamarin
So we see
is
how I mean, we'll see how it goes. Or
you never know.
Flutter,
Maybe one day Flutter will become like Xamarin. You never know.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not.
It's just don't marry a language.
Yeah.
Don't marry a language
Just
like
take the best
for
of
the,
its
for the like for me,
yeah.
like I say, like I wouldn't use Flutter Web for any production, but I will show you a production level kind of Flutter Web, and it is PS Love. No, but PS Love. So PS Love, we both were used from PS Love.
Were used.
So were used. We worked with PS Love before, and this is how to spot Flutter Web.
Interfaces.
Yeah, Flutter Web is that you can drag using your mouse cursor. So it just So that's a very simple sign on how to do it, and it is pretty fast. Maybe I
Sorry, can
cached it.
we no this
What's
is
it?
the static side. Wait, can we reply to the comment about
As C# dev, the only thing I hate in that is the lack of interface. As enforce me to use
I see.
abstract.
It enforces me to use abstract classes everywhere. That allow interfaces, right? If I'm not wrong, Dart interfaces exist. If I'm not wrong.
Let me check that
Or they
interface.
do not have a syntax for declaring interfaces.
Yeah, there's no interfaces.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just using abstract classes, which I find
Sure.
it's okay lah. Like the thing is, most of you guys will compare your previous language to current language. So like C# has interfaces, TypeScript has interfaces also. Then Dart don't really have interfaces as what you might think it has.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like basically what's mentioned just now. Don't marry the language. Just
yeah,
learn about the concepts and everything, and then just try to apply it to as many programming languages as possible. Maybe you will fall in love with another language.
yeah, man. Yeah.
It's
So
just
okay, let's go to PSLab. This is a very good Flutter Web. What do you call this website? Oh my god, they have this. Yee. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty good. I think if people don't know, I think this is a very fast Flutter Web app. Yeah,
yeah.
and the thing
Okay,
is, they
sorry.
incorporated the e-commerce.
We're
Yeah,
getting slightly distracted. So okay, let's answer one last question. Flutter and Node developer, he want to start web. Which one should I use?
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. No
No,
need.
no, 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 no. You should start with Vue because it's the easiest to learn in the big three. So the big three is Vue, React, and Angular. Most of your projects, Vue should be fine, and Vue is very easy to learn. They have good documentation. But if you want more advanced stuff, maybe React. But yeah, I mean definitely start with learning Vue because a lot of the concepts you learn in Vue you can actually bring over to React and stuff. Yeah. Generally speaking, most single page application concepts you can bring over. Yeah. Okay, wait, sorry, we're getting too distracted. Let's go back to
Let's
Deno.
go back to Dino. So Dino, right?
Deno. So
Dino
Deno
is
is very cool. I would suggest everyone to go try it out. It's very interesting. Yeah. So if you guys like it, just go and try it out. Learn more about
subscribe.
it. Yeah. I would say that Deno will probably be rather big in some time, simply because it has, well, I mean, simply because Brian Dow is behind it, uh, and simply because of the advantages that they offer over Node. So if you are a very experienced Node developer, you would have probably experienced some caveats, such as, such as let's say the require module system, stuff like that. So Deno provides quite a refreshing difference, I would say.
Right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You should do Vue if you're a solo dev, React if you're a team of 2+, Angular if you own Tesla. That's very true. Don't try Angular unless you own Tesla. Yeah. I would
Angular.
say that Angular is you should learn Angular too. It's pretty interesting, but just if you should only do that if you're just
Choose
learning for
one lah.
fun.
Just choose one and then just have your knowledge based on one. It's easier. It
Sure.
depends on what you want to do lah. If you want to start with web, I can also recommend Svelte. It's easier. Like if you really, yeah, Svelte is easier.
No,
Like Vue.
for him in particular, I don't suggest Felt because he's looking to just get started. So when
Yeah
you
lah,
just want to get
Svelte lah.
started, no, having good documentation, having a good community is a lot more important than
Yeah,
I don't
Svelte is pretty
simplicity or
good.
anything. Sure.
Executable to set up a Deno project. Ooh, Deno
Yeah.
init
So
installer.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's interesting. Deno
Very
web GUI.
yeah.
Ooh, Deno got GUI sial.
No, that's like Vue UI. It's like the UI tool for
For
your
Deno
Deno
lah. Yeah,
CLI.
yeah.
Yeah, for yeah. That's
Yeah, I know, I
it's
know.
pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it's
They spend a
cool.
lot of
Yeah,
effort.
I like it.
Start with
Start
WordPress.
WordPress, get some. I mean, it depends on what's your ultimate aim
Yeah,
lah.
it depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should learn a
So
bit of JS now. It's a good time to be learning vanilla JS. Yeah. Don't learn jQuery.
fundamentals.
Yes, fundamentals.
Fundamentals
Yeah.
is very, very important. Like what
Right.
I've explained in my previous video or my latest video. So okay, Deno has a lot of libraries
Yes.
that they have curated for you guys, which is
So I
pretty
think
good.
the key point is that if you are looking to learn JavaScript for server side in the next 2 to 3 years, Deno may actually be a very, very viable option. And also for Deno, it's actually I would say that it could be the next big thing in server side JavaScript. Yeah, I mean Node.js is cool and all, but it's been very long since we've seen big iterations and big advances in the whole ecosystem now that it's so big and difficult to move. It's very stable, definitely. However, sometimes, if especially if you're a startup, I mean, not say startup, but like if you are okay with experimenting, Deno seems like a pretty interesting option. Yeah, so right now though, I wouldn't suggest maybe in a year or so when most of the other Deno ecosystem hits V1, I think that it's a great time to experiment. However, work on Deno if you want to contribute. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanna learn Rust and contribute to Deno to something big in the world, yeah, learn the Rust and contribute to
That's what
Deno.
JJ is gonna do. He's gonna learn Rust probably. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm just doing my own thing. Then, if I were to have require a secure runtime in TypeScript, then yeah, maybe I will use it. But for now, nah, probably not for now lah. When the time comes, then the time comes because for
Yep,
me, I'm running a business. Business needs the
business.
time and the money. Okay,
Mm,
so anything else you want to add, JJ? I think we have already said a lot about Deno, right? And
yeah.
and I just like want to end off that Deno. Why it wins, I guess, is because it's
Yes,
simple enough to
it's
start off.
simple and it solves a lot of the complexity mistakes that was in Node.
No,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So anything
yeah.
else, JJ, you want to add?
Not really. Just give Deno a try. You guys might love it. You guys might hate it. But yeah, go watch some presentation of Deno. Then you really understand why people want to have Deno, want to choose Deno. Yeah,
Okay, so that's about it. Yeah, just search on Deno is the hype or is yeah, it's literally the hype lah for in the tech world. It's like, oh my god,
yeah.
Deno. Yeah,
I
I honestly
mean,
don't know what's the hype. Okay, maybe because
because they
it's
just
trying to
V1.
yeah, it's V1 and the
Yeah,
person who created Deno is also someone who's very, very famous. Okay,
experience.
so yeah lah.
Let me
So
say.
that's about it. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you
Yeah,
want more of this video,
tell
JJ,
us
what is
what you
supposed to do?
want. Tell or subscribe. I mean,
Yes,
but like
subscribe and
subscribe,
comment
like,
down
and
below.
Tell us what you want to see next. I
Right.
think for the next episode, what are we discussing?
I don't know. You
We
guys
can,
will see later. Huh? Okay. Bye
yeah.
bye.
All right, bye.
And broadcast. Thanks